There are a total of 4 selectable characters in Kill the Justice League, and knowing which character to main is going to be extremely crucial in what character is going to suit your playstyle and what character you want to farm gear to make that optimal build. One of the great things about this game is you're able to switch characters at any given time. Now there's always going to be that one character you favor more than the other, and there's always going to be that one that you want to make sure has the best gear out of all of them. Now even though there are a lot of similarities between the characters, which we'll go over, there are some things that are tied specifically to that character that's going to be a deciding factor of which character you want to main. Today we're going to be going over all those similarities, we're going to go over all the differences, and I'm pretty sure by the time you get done watching this video, you will know what character you will main. But before we jump into it, I want to know, who are you currently picking right now before you finish the video? Let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, let's jump in, take a look at the similarities, and then drill down on each individual character so you can make the right choice. In Kill the Justice League, there are a total of 5 different types of weapons. You have a shotgun, SMG, pistol, miniguns, ARs, and heavy weapons. Each character will have 2 weapon slots, 1 melee slot, 1 grenade slot, a shield mod, and a traversal mod. Even though there are a total of 5 different weapon types, each character can only use 3 of them. So it's going to be extremely important that you pick the right character depending on the type of gun you want to use. In addition to that, one very important thing about each individual character, each of them will have their own unique traversal mechanic. So some of you guys might be more familiar with just jumping and moving around the map, while other of you might be used to just using a grapple hook or using any other mechanics that are available for each character. Now, on top of that, the other thing that's going to be crucial to decide which character you want to build on is builds. Builds are going to be playing a fundamental role when it comes to picking the correct character, because the build you pick is going to determine what type of player you are when you play with your friends, or what type of player is going to get the job done easier if you decide to play solo. So with that being said, let's take a look at each individual character, talk about what weapons are available to them, and how they stand apart from other characters. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with Harley Quinn. Now, personally, I believe that Harley Quinn is the best character you could pick if you want to have amazing traversal in the game. The reason I say that is because she is very familiar for those of you who are used to traversing like Spider-Man, or are used to the Batman style of traversing within the Arkham series. She's the most one that I could say that simulates that similarity. She's able to use her grapple hook to move around the map. In addition to that, if there isn't a ledge or any surface that is able to give her a grapple hook advantage, she's able to summon a Batwing that will allow her to swing into action without needing any ledge. Now, one important thing, guys, is to knowing what type of weapons Harley's able to use. If you like SMGs, if you like pistols, and you like miniguns, then Harley Quinn is going to be the character you want to go with, because she's going to have access to these 3 guns. Her melee weapon is going to be a baseball bat. Now, talking about builds, which is one very important thing about this game, is if you're looking for what type of build character Harley Quinn is, her main skill tree focuses on grenade damage, traversal, and weapon damage. So you're going to need to be able to combo all these 3 together to get the most optimal build if you're trying to put a build together for her. So if you like doing a lot of damage with grenades, this is definitely someone you want to go ahead and pick. Now, on top of that, each character will have access to special gear and infamous items known as gear sets. If you're familiar with any loot and shooter, you know that there are some benefits for using certain types of gear sets, and each character will have access to these. Now, on top of that, there are also weapons known as notorious weapons that are going to be playing a crucial role when it comes to putting builds together. And one of those crucial roles here is having a weapon allowing you to do more damage with grenades while using that. Of course, we will have more focused build videos later in the channel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So if you like moving along the map fast and easy, if you like to make things blow up every time you land, and like to have grenades go boom, bada bing, bada bam, then Harley Quinn is definitely one that you need to consider. All right, so now let's dive in and talk about Captor Boomerang. Now, overall in general, I think he is the most balanced character. So if you're looking for a character that's able to do everything right, then this is the character you want to pick. Now, one thing that you need to know is that I feel like he has a very high learning curve when it comes to traveling or traversing throughout the game, because he uses the force of the gauntlet to move around the map. He basically throws his boomerang and kind of teleports to his boomerang. And as he throws his boomerang, you keep moving along the map. And one of the hardest things to kind of master when it comes to the game is pretty much traversal and getting used to throwing the boomerang and moving upwards or climbing buildings or moving around the map is going to be kind of have a little bit learning curve when it comes to Captain Boomerang. But once you get it down, his traversal is actually really, really good. I just feel like it takes a little bit of a learning curve to actually get used to it. But the great thing about him, guys, it is he's super balanced and will fit almost any playstyle. Now, what weapons does he have access to? So he has access to SMGs, shotguns, and sniper rifles. So if you like any of these three type of weapons, then Captain Boomerang is the one you want to consider. His melee weapon, of course, it's a boomerang, and one of the great things is his melee kind of serves as two purposes. Not only is he able to melee with his boomerang, but he's able to throw his boomerang and use it like a little bit of a ranged weapon, so it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. Now, what type of build can you create with him, and what build does he usually shine on? His skill tree is really focused on traversing, so a lot of his skills are going to come from being able to move around the map with his boomerang. So if you kind of want to be constantly be moving around the map, then this is definitely a character you want to consider so you could stack up on those benefits. Now, of course, like I said, each character has a special gear set, infamous items, and gears that are tied to each individual playstyle. Now, with the introduction of the notorious weapons, which are going to be primarily focusing on expanding and enhancing your build, putting a good build for Captain Boomerang is going to be extremely crucial on getting a nice notorious weapon to build upon. So if you like moving around the map and you want to get benefits while moving, and you want to pick someone that's a jack of all trades, then Captain Boomerang is the one you should go with. Now let's talk about Captain Shark, and he is super tanky, my boys. He is thick. So let's go ahead and talk about him. So for me personally, guys, Captain Shark is the best AoE tank in the game. So if you're looking to do a lot of AoE damage and you look for someone that's super tanky, he's definitely the one you want to go with. Now, his moving around the map is something I think a lot of people are going to be familiar with. If you guys ever played a game called Crackdown, or you played any other game where you have to jump around the map and use your jump to move around, this is definitely the character you're going to want to make sure you pick. If you played Gotham Knights, you're probably going to be very familiar with this mechanic because it's very similar to the Gotham Knights movement where he's able to launch himself into the air and get 3 jumps while he's doing that. And that is the way he traverses. I think a lot of people are going to be very accustomed to this and find it very easy to manage. I do like that about him. Now, one interesting to note is what weapons he is going to be pretty much favoring. So if you like ARs, this is definitely your character. If you like shotguns, definitely your character. And if you like miniguns, definitely your character. So as you guys see, based on the weapons he has, it looks like he's going to be an up close and personal type of character and someone that's going to be wrecking a lot of havoc with a lot of bullets. His melee weapon is a hook, hence the name why he's a shark. And his skill tree is going to be focusing on not only melee combat, but also shield harvesting. Now, shield harvesting is going to be playing a crucial role with his build due to the fact that this is going to keep you in the game with those nice close and quarter combat and allowing you to not only dish a lot of damage, but take a lot of damage as well. With the ability of the special gear and the infinite items that are going to be giving you gear set advantages, putting a build together for Captain Shark is definitely going to be super fun because being able to harvest his shields and being able to do AoE damage attacks is going to make mob clearing essential. Now, we factor the notorious weapons, that's even going to be making more intensive builds put together as a very well tight tank with really good close quarter combat. So you want to be up close and personal, you want to dish a lot of damage and take a lot of damage, King Shark is the one that you want to consider. Now let's talk about Deadshot. Now his name says it all, guys. He is going to be dead-shotting everything. And me personally, I found that he's the best one when it comes to crit damage. So if you like to do a lot of crit damage, you want to see those high numbers when you're killing someone and want to stack up on those crits, definitely one character that you want to make sure you pick. Now, he's going to be using a jetpack to move around the map. And the great thing about this jetpack is that you're actually able to hover with the jetpack and shoot down on the enemies. He's able to move around the map and do a little bit of AoE damage when it comes to using his jetpack. He throws this nice little splash of damage with his jetpack, causing a lot of AoE damage. But he is going to be mostly the type of character that you're going to be using to keep yourselves a distance for that mid-range, long-range combat and stack up those crit shots. As far as weapons he's able to use, of course, he's going to be able to use a sniper. He's going to be able to use an AR and a pistol. And there are some crazy pistols out there, guys, that give you some amazing crit shot damage when it comes to putting a build together. And speaking of builds, we're going to talk a little bit about his skill tree, but first we want to talk about his melee weapon. For melee weapon, he uses a wrist cannon, and the wrist cannon is actually one that's going to be doing a ton of damage because it's going to allow you to do really good damage not only up close, but also like at mid-range damage. His skill tree is going to be focusing on using his jetpack to move around the map and using his weapon to deal crit shots to do even more damage. So very interesting character because it's going to allow you to keep your distance while you're engaging the fight and stack up on that crit damage. Of course, he's going to have special gear that's going to be tied to each individual item, and the infamous sets, which everybody should be excited for, that are going to give you an extra benefit because once you have a certain amount of infinite sets, you're going to be getting an extra perk. But the main thing is finding that one notorious weapon that's going to boost that crit shot damage with your character. Overall, guys, if you are looking to be one of the highest persons that stacks up when the end screen shows who got the most damage, then definitely Deadshot is going to be your character to stack up on those crits. Now, the great thing about this game is you're able to switch characters anytime you want, but like I said earlier in the video, you're always going to have that one favorite character that you want to get and master. I want to know from you guys, after watching the video, who do you want to go with? Who did you decide to pick and why? Let me know that in the comment section down below. I hope you guys are enjoying our content, and if you want to see more videos and content on the Suicide Squad, make sure you guys drop a comment and drop a like, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.